Breathe in and release. Settle into this moment, into this space, and allow the world outside to gently fade. There is nothing for you to do now, nowhere for you to be, except here, present, peaceful. Let your thoughts drift by like clouds on a quiet sky, acknowledging them without holding on, letting them dissolve into a soft and gentle stillness. Feel the weight of your body, the gentle pull of gravity, a comforting anchor in the quiet of the room. With each breath, feel yourself sinking a little deeper, a little further into a state of profound rest. We are going on a journey tonight, not a journey of distance or time, but of awareness. We are drifting away from the shores of the waking world, out into a calm and endless ocean of quiet. Imagine this ocean. It is not made of water, but of silence itself. It is vast and deep and utterly peaceful. And as we drift, we begin to perceive a color in this silence, a soft and gentle wash of rose and violet, blushing against the deep, velvety black. We are floating, weightless and safe, in the heart of a great and tranquil nebula. There is no up or down here, no wind, only a slow cosmic current that guides us without haste. Immense, silent clouds of incandescent gas, dyed in hues of sleeping dusk, move around us in a ballet that takes millennia to complete. They are like slow-motion fog, swirling in lazy, graceful patterns, revealing and then hiding the starfields that lie beyond. The stars here are not the sharp, cold points of light you might know. They are soft, ancient, and distant, like diamonds resting on an endless expanse of dark velvet. Their light is gentle, filtered through the rosy veil of the nebula, and it does not disturb the deep peace of this place. It only deepens the sense of awe, the feeling of being a small, safe part of an immense and beautiful whole. As you drift, you become aware of a scent carried on the slow-drifting gases. It is a clean, cool smell, like the air after a distant thunderstorm, the scent of ozone, pure and clarifying. And beneath it, another, fainter fragrance, something sweet and warm and comforting, like rock sugar heated gently over a quiet flame. It is the scent of creation, of cosmic dust and ancient starlight, and it fills you with a sense of deep, abiding calm. But there is something else here, something more fundamental than sight or scent. It is a feeling, a vibration, a low, steady, and continuous hum that seems to come from everywhere at once. It is not a sound that you hear with your ears, but one that you feel in your very bones. It is a resonance so deep and so ancient that it feels like the baseline of existence itself. Let yourself tune into this hum. Feel it as a gentle thrumming against your skin, a vibration that travels up from the soles of your feet, through your legs, and settles into a warm, steady pulse in the center of your chest. This is the music of the nebula, the song of deep space, and it is a lullaby of absolute peace. Let this deep, resonant hum soothe you, grounding you in the stillness of the cosmos. Our gentle drift is not aimless. The cosmic current is guiding us toward something. Ahead, nestled within a vast, quiet eddy of the nebula, a form begins to resolve out of the violet mist. It is an asteroid, but like nothing you have ever imagined. It is not a lump of dull gray rock. It is carved impossibly from a single, seamless piece of deep blue crystal, the color of a twilight sky, just after the sun has vanished. It glimmers with a soft internal light, catching the rosy glow of the nebula and reflecting it from its countless facets. It turns with an almost imperceptible slowness, a majestic, silent jewel adrift in the heavens. This is the workshop, and it is our destination. As we draw closer, you can see that the asteroid is not solid. Great open archways are carved into its sides, allowing the nebulous gases to drift in and out, breathing with the cosmos. There are no doors, no barriers. It is a place of serene openness. The cosmic current guides us gently toward one of these archways, and we drift through, crossing the threshold from the open nebula into the heart of the crystal asteroid. Inside, the feeling of peace deepens. The workshop is a single, impossibly vast, open-air room. The floor beneath us, the walls around us, the ceiling far above, are all part of the same seamless, deep blue crystal. The low, resonant hum we felt outside is stronger here, vibrating up from the crystalline floor, a constant, soothing thrum that calms the mind and settles the body. It feels as though the entire asteroid is a massive, gentle tuning fork, set to the frequency of perfect tranquility. The rose and violet mists of the nebula drift through the archways, painting the air with shifting, dreamlike colors. They carry with them the cool scent of ozone and sweet, heated stone, a perfume of silent creation. And in the center of this impossible space, a figure stands. Or perhaps, stands is not the right word. They simply are. A presence. This is the Luthier. They are an ancient and gentle being, their form indeterminate, ever-shifting. They appear as a silhouette, a humanoid shape cut from the fabric of space itself. But they are not empty. Within their outline, you do not see the blue crystal of the workshop behind them, but a living, moving star field. Constellations swirl within their form. Tiny galaxies spin slowly in the space where their heart would be, and faint, gossamer trails of comet dust drift down their arms. They are a vessel of the night sky, a quiet custodian of the cosmos. The Luthier does not speak. They have no need for words. Their every movement is a language of its own, a slow, deliberate ballet of care and intention. They move with a grace that seems to slow time itself, each gesture flowing into the next with a serene and practiced purpose. There is an aura of infinite patience about them, the kind of patience that can only be cultivated over eons, by watching galaxies be born and stars grow old. Their hands are remarkable. They are formed from a cool, smooth, polished obsidian, so black they seem to drink the light around them. Yet, they move with impossible gentleness, with a deep, instinctual understanding of the delicate dance between light and sound, between silence and resonance. Their touch is one of mending, of caring, of restoring. For a long moment, the Luthier is perfectly still, a silent statue filled with stars, their head tilted as if listening, but they are not listening with ears. Their entire being is an instrument of perception, attuned to the great symphony of the universe. They are feeling for the silences, for the notes that have faded. Since the dawn of time, the stars have not been silent. They are immense, celestial instruments, each one a unique creation of crystalline light. Some are vast, cosmic harps, with strings of pure energy stretching across gulfs of space. Others are great, resonant bells, whose tolling marks the slow turning of ages. Still others are like zithers, their flat, shimmering bodies vibrating with chords that ripple through the fabric of reality. Together, they have played the music of cosmic sleep, the eternal symphony that cradles the universe in harmony. But eons are long, and even starlight can grow weary. Over countless millennia, some of these celestial instruments have grown faint. Their strings of light have frayed and broken. Their resonant, crystalline bodies have developed tiny, silent cracks. Their music fades into a whisper, and then into a profound and lonely silence. It is this silence that the luthier feels now, a tiny, new absence in the universal hum, a single missing thread in the grand, resonant tapestry. Their constellation-filled head turns slowly, their gaze directed not with eyes, but with an intention that flows out from their core. They scan the star fields visible through the great archways, feeling the vibrations of each distant point of light. They feel the strong, steady hum of the younger stars, the complex, layered chords of the middle-aged ones, and the faint, fragile tremor of the truly ancient. And there, their attention comes to rest on a distant, lonely glimmer in a quiet sector of the sky. It is a star that once shone with a clear silver-blue light. It was a celestial bell, a perfect teardrop of resonant crystal, whose gentle periodic chime was a beacon of tranquility in its corner of the galaxy. But now, its light is weak, a pale and watery flicker. Its chime is gone. The star is silent, its resonant heart cracked and weary. Its last exhausted light is bleeding away into the void, about to be lost forever. A slow, deliberate purpose now fills the luthier. The work must begin. Their obsidian hands, so dark and still, begin to move. They turn toward a recessed alcove in the crystal wall, a space that glows with a faint, silvery light. From this alcove, they retrieve their first tool. It is a net. But this is a net woven from something finer than a spider's thread, finer even than light itself. It seems to be made of captured moonlight and spun silence. It shimmers with a soft, pearlescent luster, and in the luthier's hands, it seems to have no weight at all. It is a tool designed not to catch matter, but to gently cup the very essence of fading light. The luthier moves to one of the great open archways, the silvery net held delicately in their obsidian fingers. They do not brace themselves to throw it. The motion is far more gentle, more graceful. It is an offering, with a slow, sweeping gesture that is both a release and a prayer. They unfurl the net into the void. It does not fall or fly. It simply expands. It grows from the size of a shawl to the size of a river, and then to the size of a continent, spreading out across the silent darkness in a slow, shimmering wave. It is semi-transparent, and as it travels, the stars behind it are not obscured, but seem to shine through it with a softened, dreamlike quality. The net glides through the vacuum of space, past the swirling mists of the nebula, past younger, brighter stars who hum their vibrant songs, ignoring them all. It has a single destination, a single purpose. It travels for an immeasurable time, across an unknowable distance, yet the journey feels as brief as a single calming breath. It arrives at the fading celestial bell. The star is now just a pale, trembling ghost of its former self. Its last light is leaking from it like a fine, weary dust. a final exhalation after a billion years of shining. The net does not collide with the star. It flows around it, cupping it with an impossible gentleness. It doesn't trap the light. It gathers it. It coaxes the last tired photons, the exhausted whispers of luminescence, into its fine, silvery mesh. It collects the memory of the star's song, the faint spectral echo of its once glorious chime. The fine, silvery threads of the net seem to absorb the weariness, cradling the faint light like a precious, sleeping child. Once the last motes of fading light are gathered, the net begins to close. There is no sudden snap, no jarring motion. It folds in on itself as slowly and gracefully as a morning glory flower closes at dusk. It collapses from a cosmic sheet into a small, softly glowing bundle, a treasure pouch of weary starlight held safely within its shimmering confines. Back in the workshop, the luthier raises their obsidian hands. With a slow reeling motion that involves no reel, they draw the net back. It glides back through the void, a tiny, pulsing silver heart, retracing its path to the crystal asteroid. It floats back through the archway and comes to rest, hovering an inch above the luthier's outstretched palms. It radiates a gentle, weary warmth and a faint, almost imperceptible sadness, the melancholy of a light that has almost been extinguished. The luthier carries this precious, glowing burden toward the very center of the vast, crystalline room. Here, another of their tools awaits. It is a great, silent spindle, rising from the blue crystal floor. It is crafted from a material that seems to be a perfect void, a piece of absolute blackness that absorbs all light and reflects nothing. It is stark and beautiful against the glowing mists and the luminous floor, and it is turning. It rotates at a speed so slow it is almost impossible to perceive. Its movement is not mechanical, but elemental. It turns with the same patient, inexorable rhythm as a galaxy's spin, a constant, silent engine at the heart of the workshop. Beside the spindle rests a large, shallow bowl, carved from the same polished obsidian as the luthier's hands. It is so smooth, its surface so perfect, that it looks like a pool of captured night. The luthier brings the glowing net and holds it over this bowl. With fingers as gentle as falling shadows, they loosen the invisible knot that holds the net closed. And the starlight pours out. It does not splash or spill. It cascades, a soft, shimmering stream of light dust, like the finest, most radiant sand you have ever imagined, flows from the net into the obsidian bowl. It makes a sound, but it is the softest sound in the universe, a gentle, whispering, shimmering hiss, like sand falling through a glass funnel, or the rustle of silk sheets in a silent room. Shh! The light motes are pale silver, each one a tiny spark of exhausted energy. They accumulate in the bowl, forming a swirling, luminous pool of faint, weary light. When the last mote has fallen, the net is empty, its silvery glow faded, and the luthier lays it aside in its glowing alcove, its work done for now. The luthier turns their full attention to the obsidian bowl filled with captured starlight. The light within it pulses with a slow, tired rhythm, like a fading heartbeat. This is the raw material, the memory of a song, the potential for a new one, the work of restoration, of spinning silence back into sound, is about to begin. This is the heart of the luthier's craft, a hypnotic, cyclical process of pure creation. Slowly, reverently, the luthier dips their obsidian hands into the bowl of light. As their dark, smooth fingers sink into the luminous dust, there is a faint, tingling sensation. It is not heat or cold, but something else entirely. It is the feeling of touching potential, the cool, quiet energy of a billion years of shining, now dormant and waiting. The luthier's hands stir the light dust gently, their movements slow and swirling, like mixing colors in a pool of water. The dust responds, its faint glow seeming to brighten just a little with the contact, awakened by the luthier's intent. Lifting their hands from the bowl, the luthier brings a small pinch of the radiant dust between their thumb and forefinger. They hold it up for a moment, a tiny, shimmering cluster of weary light against the infinite black of their obsidian fingers. Then, they turn to the great, silent, slow-turning spindle. They approach it with a deep reverence. This is the loom upon which the music of the cosmos is rewoven. With a touch so delicate it is barely a touch at all, the luthier touches the pinch of stardust to a small, almost invisible anchor point at the top of the spindle. The dust adheres, clinging to the anchor as if magnetized. Now the ballet truly begins. As the spindle continues its almost imperceptible rotation, the luthier's other hand moves to the adhering dust. With their obsidian fingers, they begin to draw the light out. They pull a single, impossibly fine filament from the cluster of dust. It is a thread of pure light. As it is drawn out, a transformation begins. And with that transformation comes the feeling, the resonance. At first, there is nothing. But as the thread lengthens, pulled by the slow turning of the spindle and guided by the luthier's steady hand, a vibration starts. It is not a sound. It is a feeling that travels from the thread, through the luthier's obsidian fingers, and into the very air of the workshop. It is a faint, high-frequency thrumming, a texture you can feel in your own hands, in your teeth, in the fine hairs on your arms. Let yourself feel this nascent vibration. It is the first stirring of the star's new voice, the first breath of a new song. The luthier's movements are a perfect, hypnotic mantra of motion. Their left hand remains near the anchor point, feeding a steady, controlled stream of dust. Their right hand guides the forming thread, maintaining a perfect, even tension. As the spindle turns, the filament of light is spun, twisted, and coalesced. Its appearance changes. The pale, watery silver of the weary light dust is spun into something new. It becomes a vibrant, vital, glowing thread of pure, white gold light. It is no longer tired. It is alive. It thrums with a new and potent energy. The single thread, now glowing with renewed life, begins to wrap itself around the base of the black spindle. The luthier guides it, ensuring it coils in a perfect, neat spiral. Each new layer of thread laid down upon the last adds its voice to the growing resonance. The faint, high thrumming deepens. It becomes a clearer, more discernible hum, a pure and steady tone that harmonizes perfectly with the deep bass drone of the crystal asteroid itself. The workshop is now filled with two layers of vibration, the deep grounding hum from the floor and this new, clearer, more focused hum from the spindle. Together, they create a chord of profound and peaceful power. When the first pinch of dust is exhausted, the thread is secured, and the luthier's hands move back to the obsidian bowl. There is no hurry. The cosmos is patient, and so is its caretaker. They dip their fingers in again, gathering another pinch of the luminous, silvery dust. They bring it to the spindle, seamlessly joining it to the end of the newly spun thread. The process repeats, a cycle of perfect, calming repetition. Touch, draw, spin, guide, coil. Each movement is identical to the one before, and yet, with each repetition, the coil of light on the spindle grows. The hum becomes richer, fuller. The light of the thread becomes brighter, casting a warm, golden-white glow that pushes back the rose and violet mists. The Luthier's own form, a silhouette filled with swirling constellations, seems to pulse gently in time with the resonant hum, their inner stars brightening and softening with each turn of the spindle. The nebulous gases that drift through the workshop are drawn into the dance, swirling in slow, graceful eddies around the spindle, as if captivated by the act of creation. Let your mind follow this cycle. Watch the luthier's dark, gentle hands. See them dip into the pool of silver light. Watch them lift the stardust, a pinch of pure potential. See them touch it to the spindle, the point of transformation. Follow the journey of the dust as it is drawn out, stretched, and spun from a weary memory into a vibrant, living thread of light. Feel the resonance build with each coil that is laid down. The hum grows from a faint vibration to a clear, steady note, a frequency of pure peace that fills the entire workshop. It is a feeling that sinks deep into your body, loosening any remaining tension, soothing any lingering thoughts. Touch. The cool, smooth obsidian fingers sink into the cool, tingling dust. Draw. A new length of potential is pulled forth. Spin. The slow, inexorable turning of the universe transforms weariness into vitality. Guide. The steady hand of the eternal artisan ensures perfection. Coil. A new layer of harmony is added to the growing whole. Over and over, the cycle continues. The pool of silver light in the obsidian bowl gradually diminishes, given up to the process of its own rebirth. And as the bowl empties, the coil on the spindle grows ever larger, a brilliant, glowing beehive of pure, resonant light thread. Its hum is now a powerful and palpable presence in the room. A clear and beautiful tenor note layered over the deep, soothing bass of the asteroid. It is the sound of healing, the sound of a song being remembered, being rewritten, being made whole again. Finally, the luthier's fingers scrape the bottom of the obsidian bowl. The last few motes of starlight dust cling to their fingertips. They bring this final, precious pinch to the spindle. They touch it to the thread, and with the same slow, patient grace, they spin the very last of the old star's light into the new, vibrant filament. The thread runs out, and the luthier's hands gently guide the final inch of the glowing strand until it settles perfectly into place upon the great, shining coil. The work of gathering and spinning is complete. The luthier's obsidian hands rest for a moment on the completed coil of light thread. Through their fingers, they can feel the powerful, steady thrum of its new life, a vibrant and potent hum, filled with the promise of a restored melody. The great black spindle continues its slow, silent turning, but now it carries a magnificent burden, a great spool of pure, white gold light that illuminates the center of the workshop with its gentle, life-giving radiance. The air is thick with resonance, a chord of cosmic peace. The deep, grounding vibration from the crystal floor, and now, layered perfectly on top, the clear, strong, and vital hum from the newly spun thread. The luthier stands perfectly still, a silent silhouette filled with quiet satisfaction. Their head is tilted, not listening, but feeling the potential held within the glowing coil, feeling the completeness of this stage of the work. A silence hangs in the air, a pause filled not with emptiness, but with gentle anticipation. The thread is ready. The silent star is waiting. The mending is yet to come. And in this moment of peaceful, resonant stillness, all is well. All is calm. All is as it should be. Breathe into this stillness. Let the feeling of resonant calm settle around you like the softest blanket. The work of reclamation is done, but the work of restoration has just begun. In the vast, crystal workshop, the great black spindle continues its slow, galactic turn, carrying its precious burden. A great, glowing coil of pure, white gold light thread. It is a perfect spiral, a beehive of captured radiance, and it hums with a clear, steady, and beautiful note. This is the voice of the weary star, not as it was, but as it will be. It is a sound of pure potential, a melody waiting to be released. Feel this hum in the air around you, a gentle vibration that resonates in your chest, a frequency of wholeness and peace. The luthier, that silent figure of starlit grace, stands perfectly still before the spindle. Their obsidian hands, which have just completed the hypnotic ballet of spinning, are held motionless at their sides. Within their silhouette, the constellations turn, the galaxies swirl, a universe contained in a single, patient being. They are not resting, they are attuning. Their entire form is absorbed in the feeling of the newly spun thread, sensing its vitality, its strength, its readiness. They feel the perfect, uninterrupted flow of energy from one end of the coil to the other. They feel its eagerness to be woven back into the cosmic tapestry. The silence in the workshop is profound, a reverent pause between two great movements of a symphony. It is a silence filled with the deep bass hum of the crystal asteroid and the clear tenor hum of the coiled light, a chord of anticipation that sings of the mending to come. Satisfied, the luthier begins to move once more. The slow, deliberate grace returns to their form, each gesture imbued with purpose and an ancient, unhurried calm. They raise their dark, polished hands toward the glowing coil on the spindle. They do not touch it immediately. Instead, their hands hover inches from its radiant surface, palms open. It is a gesture of respect, of asking permission. The light from the coil seems to respond, its golden white glow intensifying slightly, its hum rising just a fraction in pitch, a clear, affirmative note. The connection is made. The thread is willing. With infinite care, the luthier's obsidian fingers make contact with the coil. They sink into the mass of glowing threads, as if it were a cloud. There is no solid resistance, only a soft, vibrational pressure. Imagine the feeling of plunging your hands into a drift of sun-warmed, thrumming feathers. It is a sensation of pure, gentle energy. The luthier's hands move to either side of the great coil, cupping it. Then, with a motion as smooth and effortless as a thought, they lift the entire coil of starlight, from the black spindle. The spindle continues its slow, patient rotation, now unburdened, its task in this cycle complete. The coil of light floats between the luthier's hands, a self-contained star, pulsing with a gentle, steady rhythm, and singing its quiet song of rebirth. Now, a new tool is needed. The luthier turns, carrying the glowing coil as if it weighed nothing at all, and drifts toward another of the recessed alcoves in the deep blue crystal walls. This alcove is dark, not glowing like the others. It seems to hold a sliver of absolute night. From this darkness, the luthier retrieves the second tool of their trade. It is a needle, but a needle of impossible origin. It is long and slender, perhaps the length of your forearm, and it is forged from a material that does not seem to exist. It is not metal, nor crystal, nor light. It looks like a sliver of solidified time, a single, frozen moment, clear and yet holding within it a faint, rainbow-like shimmer, like oil on still water. It has no discernible weight, and when the luthier holds it, it does not block the starlight of their inner form, but seems to bend it, to magnify the tiny, distant galaxies swirling within them. This is the weaver's needle, the only instrument in the universe fine enough to sew with light, to mend the fabric of a star. The luthier brings the floating coil of thread and the time-spun needle to the center of the workshop. They place the needle on the air before them, where it hangs, perfectly balanced and motionless. Then, with one hand, they gently tease the end of the light thread from the main coil. The thread floats free, a single brilliant filament, thrumming with its clear, resonant hum. Now comes another act of impossible delicacy. The luthier must thread the needle. The eye of this needle is not a hole, but a point of conceptual space, a tiny, shimmering distortion. With their other hand, the luthier guides the very tip of the light thread toward this distortion. As the thread approaches the eye, it does not need to be pushed through. The eye of the needle reaches for it, drawing it in with a gentle, irresistible pull. The light flows through the opening and emerges on the other side, perfectly threaded. The needle is now armed with the filament of life. And so, the next phase of the journey begins. The luthier stands before one of the great, open archways, looking out into the rose and violet depths of the nebula. Their gaze, an act of pure intention, fixes upon that distant, quiet sector of the sky where the silent celestial bell waits. The weaver's needle, threaded with its golden white light, floats before them. With a gentle, subtle gesture, a mere flick of their obsidian wrist, the luthier sends the needle on its way. It does not shoot forth like an arrow. It simply begins to move, gliding out from the workshop into the velvet void of space. It moves with a serene and steady purpose, pulling the filament of light thread behind it. The great coil of light remains floating in the workshop, held by the luthier's gentle intention, and it begins to slowly, smoothly unspool, feeding its thread out into the cosmos. Let your awareness travel with this point of light. Imagine the needle as a tiny personal star, a messenger of healing, as it journeys through the majestic, silent beauty of the nebula. It glides through vast swirling clouds of incandescent gas, painting a thin golden white trail against the deep violet and soft rose. It passes by other stars, great and small. A cluster of young blue-white stars pulse with a fast, excited rhythm, and their hum seems to harmonize with the passing thread for a moment. An ancient, red giant star hums a deep, slow bass note. A sound so low it is like the turning of a page in a book 1,000,000 years old. The needle and thread pass them all, a comet of purpose, its destination singular and certain. The thin, golden trail of light stretches across the void, an umbilical cord of hope, connecting the heart of the workshop to the silence that needs to be healed. As the needle travels, the coil of light in the workshop slowly diminishes, its light thread unspooling in a smooth and silent stream. The clear tenor hum in the workshop fades little by little, as the resonance travels with the thread out into the void. The luthier stands as a silent anchor, their constellation-filled form the source of the intention that guides the needle on its path. They feel the journey of the thread, every parsec it crosses, every wisp of nebula it passes through. They feel its approach to the silent, waiting star. Finally, after a journey that is both instantaneous and eternal, the weaver's needle arrives. It slows, coming to a gentle halt before the celestial bell. From this proximity, the star's weariness is a palpable presence. It is a vast, teardrop-shaped crystal, but its surface, which should be a flawless silver blue, is now pale and cloudy. Its light is gone. All that remains is a faint, ghostly luminescence, like moonlight on a frozen lake. And across its surface, you can see them, the cracks. They are like fine, dark lines in old porcelain, a network of silent fissures that show where the star's resonant heart has broken. There is no vibration here, no hum, only a profound and desolate silence, a cold that is not of temperature, but of absence, an absence of music, an absence of life. Back in the workshop, the luthier feels this cold, this silence at the other end of the golden thread. A deep, focused calm settles over them. The time for mending is now. Through the thread, through the needle, the luthier's intention flows. Their hands begin to move, here in the workshop, light years away. But these movements are not for their own sake. They are a mirror, a physical manifestation of the delicate work being performed by the needle at the distant star. As the luthier's obsidian hand makes a slow, careful gesture, the weaver's needle moves in perfect synchrony. The needle drifts toward the surface of the silent star. It approaches one of the largest cracks, a dark line that runs near the star's core. The point of the needle, that sliver of frozen time, touches the edge of the fissure. It does not chip or force its way in. It simply sinks into the crystal, passing through it as if it were smoke. The needle dips into the body of the star, and the thread of pure, white gold light follows it. The first inch of the new thread enters the cold, silent crystal of the celestial bell, and a miracle occurs, a sensation. As the living light of the thread touches the dead crystal, a single low pulse of resonance is born. It is incredibly faint, almost imperceptible. It is not a sound you can hear, but a vibration you can feel. Imagine a single grain of sand dropping onto the surface of a vast, silent drum. It is a feeling that travels from the star, back along the golden thread, all the way to the workshop, where the luthier feels it in their obsidian hands. It is the first beat of a reawakening heart. Feel this first, tiny pulse within your own body. A small, warm spark in the center of your chest. The beginning of peace. Now the true weaving begins. A slow, cosmic suturing. The luthier's hands move in a continuous, flowing pattern, a hypnotic dance of mending. And far away, the weaver's needle follows their lead. It dips and rises, weaving the golden thread through the crystalline structure of the star. It follows the path of the dark crack, lacing it together from the inside out. The needle dips down into the crystal and pulls the thread through. It rises up on the other side of the fissure, crosses over, and dips down again. A slow, steady, patient rhythm of repair. Dip, the needle sinks into the crystal, carrying its light. Rise, it emerges, trailing its golden filament. Cross, it spans the dark, silent gap. And dip again, sewing the star back together, one stitch of light at a time. With every stitch, the golden thread sinks into the star's substance, and it does not just fill the crack, it transforms it. The dull, lifeless crystal around the thread begins to change. The pale cloudiness recedes, and the beautiful, clear, silver-blue color begins to return. And with every stitch, the resonance grows. The single faint pulse becomes a steady, slow thrum. A low, gentle hum that begins to fill the cold silence. The star is warming from within, not with heat, but with sound, with life. Let yourself feel this growing hum. Let it be a soothing, steady presence, a gentle massage for your muscles and your mind. The deep, grounding hum is returning, chasing away the cold silence. Back in the workshop, the coil of light continues to shrink as the thread is paid out across the void. The luthier is a figure of absolute focus, their entire being poured into the act of mending. Their hands continue their slow, graceful ballet, weaving and stitching from light years away. They are not just repairing an object, they are coaxing a soul back to life. They are reminding the star of its own song. The needle continues its work, tireless and precise. It finishes with one crack and moves to the next. Some are fine as a hair, and the needle makes tiny, delicate stitches. Others are deeper, and the needle weaves a stronger, more complex pattern to ensure the mend is strong. With each crack that is sealed with light, the star's own faint, ghostly luminescence brightens. The silver-blue color spreads across its surface like a dawn, and the hum deepens, grows richer, more complex. It is finding its old voice, but it is a new song. The golden threads woven within its core add a new layer to its music, a warmth and a richness it did not have before. It is not just being repaired, it is being reborn, more beautiful for having been broken. Let your mind rest on this process, the slow, repetitive, and deeply calming act of mending, the patient weaving of light, the gradual return of warmth and sound. There is no rush, no urgency, only a steady, benevolent process unfolding according to its own cosmic time. Allow this feeling of gentle, healing progress to permeate your being. Any thoughts that arise are like the fine cracks in the star, and you can imagine this golden thread of peaceful resonance weaving through them, sealing them, leaving behind only calm, clear stillness. Finally, the weaver's needle approaches the last tiny fissure on the star's surface. It is a barely visible line near the star's apex. The coil of light in the workshop is now almost gone. Just a few final feet of glowing thread remain. The luthier's hands guide the needle through its final, delicate ballet. It dips and rises, making the last few stitches, weaving the last of the thread into the star's crystalline heart. The needle pulls the very end of the thread through, and the last of the golden light is absorbed into the celestial bell. The thread is gone. The coil in the workshop has vanished. The weaver's needle, its work complete, detaches from the star and dissolves into a faint rainbow shimmer, its existence fulfilled. The mending is finished. A new kind of silence descends, a different silence from before. It is not the cold, dead silence of absence. It is a warm, full silence of anticipation, a held breath. The celestial bell hangs in the void, no longer pale and cracked, but whole and perfect. It glows with a deep, serene, silver-blue light, and through its crystalline depths, you can see the intricate, shimmering network of the golden threads woven within, like veins of pure gold in a sapphire. The star is vibrating, humming with a powerful, steady, and complex chord of life, a deep hum that is now holding its breath, ready. In the workshop, the luthier is perfectly still, their head tilted, their entire being focused on this moment of becoming. And then it comes. It is not loud. It is not sudden. It begins as a swelling of the hum, a gathering of the resonance within the star's mended heart. And then it is released, a single, perfect, resonant chime. A note of pure, crystalline beauty that flows out from the star and expands in a great, shimmering sphere of sound and light. It is a tone that is both high and low, simple and complex, a chord of absolute harmony. It is the sound of joy and peace, of relief and release, the sound of a soul returned to itself. This wave of resonant peace travels out in all directions. It washes over the nearby nebula, causing the clouds of gas to shimmer and glow in response. It passes the ancient red giant, who seems to hum its deep bass note in welcome. It sweeps through the cluster of young blue stars, whose excited twinkling softens into a gentle, contented gleam. And the wave of sound travels back along the path the thread once took, across the void, and into the workshop. It flows through the great crystal archways, and it washes over you. Let this chord of perfect peace envelop you completely. Feel it not with your ears, but with your whole body. It is a vibration that smooths out any last trace of tension, that quiets any final, lingering thought. It is the feeling of a great, cosmic sigh of relief. It is the feeling of wholeness, the feeling of coming home. Let it soak into your bones, your muscles, your very cells. The symphony of the universe has one of its voices back, and the cosmos is more beautiful for it. The luthier stands in the center of the workshop as the resonant chime fades into a steady, peaceful hum that now joins the music of the spheres. A sense of completion radiates from their still form. Their work here is done. They slowly turn and place the invisible weaver's needle back into its alcove of night. They glance at the empty spindle and then out through the archway toward the now distant but steady silver-blue light of the restored star. There is no expression on their star-filled face, but you can feel a deep and abiding sense of quiet fulfillment. The eternal, cyclical work continues, and all is well. The luthier returns to the center of the vast crystal room and once again becomes still, a silhouette of constellations against the soft, drifting mists. They are listening again, feeling the great symphony, now fuller, more complete. They are listening for the next silence, the next weary star that will need their care. But for now, there is only harmony and peace. And you can rest in this harmony now. The story is told, the mending is complete. The deep resonant hum of the workshop and the distant gentle chime of the stars cradle you in a lullaby of cosmic peace. You are a safe and treasured part of this vast, benevolent, and beautiful whole. There is nothing left to do, nothing to think about. Simply allow yourself to drift on this gentle tide of resonance, sinking deeper and deeper into stillness, deeper and deeper into rest. Let the music of the spheres carry you into a peaceful, restorative sleep. Breathe in the calm and release into dreams. Settle now and sleep.